Income inequality is a big topic for Democrats on the campaign trail. Bernie Sanders' rise being fueled in large part by his focus on inequality, but he and the Democrats face an uncomfortable truth. After years of rising, inequality is declining under President Trump. That's what Robert Frank is here to tell us. Morning.
Good morning, Scott. At the center of Bernie Sanders' phenomena is anger over inequality.
Something profoundly wrong when over the last 30 years, the top 1% have seen a $21 trillion increase in their wealth, while the bottom half of American society have seen a decline in their wealth.
In fact, recent data shows that while inequality in the U.S. is still very high, it is declining for the first time in years. Wages for those at the bottom are now growing faster than for those at the top. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, wages in low-pay industries like retail, food, nursing homes, those are rising 4.5% a year, while wage growth in middle-income industries are raising at 3%. And those high-wage earners, that includes the managers and executives, they've actually seen wage growth decline. Now, the measure of inequality known as the Gini coefficient, that shows that the share of income held by the top 20% has fallen for the first time in a decade. Even wealth inequality, that's total assets, that's shrinking, though it's still shrinking by a small amount. Recent data from the Federal Reserve shows that the share of wealth held by the top 1% fell to 32.7%. That's from 32. That fell to 32.2 from 32.7 over the past 2 years. The share held by the bottom, that is up slightly. They hold 1.6% of the nation's wealth. Now, the U.S. still has the highest level of inequality among any developed nation except for Turkey. And the 1% gained an average of $2.2 million each over the last 3 years. That is versus $4,000 for the bottom half. So I don't want to be called an inequality denier here, but the direction is that inequality is declining over the past 2 years.
Fractionally from extreme levels.
Correct.
But the underlying issue, if you look at it, is that when you have a very hot economy and employers are desperate to get employees, that's where you see the biggest move in the labor numbers. And that's right. Finally happened. The slack has finally disappeared. And so those low unemployment numbers directly feed into this.
And this has been touted by the Trump administration as the blue-collar boom. It is also, we should say, driven by all the minimum wage legislation that's taken place in Seattle and some other cities.
But the fractional improvement, as you already said, only fractionally begins to offset a couple of decades.
Correct. It's still
of it
very
worse.
high.